Charles Lindbergh, a great man from St. Louis who, boy, he was into a lot of things as you read a little bit about him. But one of the great things he did, of course, was to make the first transcontinental flight. He went from New York to Paris, but that's just a little part of the man that we feature today on today's Walk of Fame.
Charles Lindbergh was born February 4th, 1902 in Detroit, Michigan. He attended an aviation school and was fascinated by machinery. Soon, he was flying daring exhibitions.
First he was a barnstormer, which is sort of a stunt pilot, and did different air shows, and following that he flew mail from St. Louis to Chicago, back and forth.
But Lindbergh was up for a challenge, namely the Raymond Ortigue Prize, $25,000 for the first man to complete a flight between New York and Paris. His financial backers were businessmen from St. Louis. Lindbergh built his own plane, the Spirit of St. Louis, to take him on the 3,600-mile trip. It was a simple one engine that carried 400 gallons of gasoline and could only go up to 102 miles per hour.
Because the gas tank was in front of the cockpit, Charles Lindbergh had to use a periscope to see where he was going.
For 33 hours and 36 minutes, he piloted the plane via periscope. But as any airman will tell you, none of that matters unless you land.
There were so many people in Paris waiting to see him land. There were 100,000 people waiting there that he really had trouble finding a place to land at the airport.
And there was one other small problem facing the Lone Eagle.
He had all the details accounted for except where he was going to stay. And when he got to Paris, he had forgotten to book a hotel room.
He bedded down at the American Embassy while thieves tried to rip apart the plane for souvenirs.
Charles Lindbergh was an American hero when he made this flight, and he was really a celebrity of the time.
His success came with a price and a number of nicknames. One in particular he wasn't very fond of: Lucky Lindy.
Lindbergh was very calculated, from building his plane to calculating exactly how much gas they would need, how much the plane should weigh, and so to him it wasn't about luck at all.
There is not enough time to tell the entire tale of Charles Lindbergh. His aviation life was ideal, bringing adventure, and that's what he enjoyed as a pilot who had the freedom of wind and the expanse of sky.